Okay, so we're live in behind the scenes. We're just giving everyone a moment to come on. And then, okay, so we're live. So, hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm just going to give people a chance to find us because I do find once we go live, it takes a few minutes to pop up in the feed and for people to realize we're here. So I'm actually just going to. Um, and so I'm opening Facebook on another screen so I can see what they're seeing. Yeah, so we just like literally popped on live 2 seconds ago. All right, so how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. It's very sunny here. I'm in St. John, New Brunswick, so was a little
Okay.
chilly. It was -6 this morning, so it was a little cold walking the dog, but
Yeah.
there's not a lot of snow here. I think that's the same there in Nova Scotia, right?
Yes, yeah, like I'm in Queensland, so we get less anyway. Like there's like literally no snow when I look out my windows. But then we have land just outside of Bridgewater, and it's last time we were there was this much snow, so I suspect there's probably still some there. It's so nice to see you. I don't remember the last time I actually saw you in person. Like it would have been Clifton House, I'm thinking.
Yeah, Windsor, Nova Scotia, when we hosted a women's retreat, and that probably would have been the last time. So wonderful memories with you and all your friends. We had such a beautiful time.
We did, and that's why it's not why, but when I was looking at who do I want to invite in, what topics do we want to cover, and I have my pendulum. I realize mine just kind of goes with my clothing, and you may or may not see it. And I thought, this is occasionally I'll pull it out, or I'll have a necklace and I'll just take it off, and I thought, what, I bet you this is something that that my community would love to know more about. So I'm going to start this off in just a moment. So I do have to do a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to pop over to comments. So good morning, Alma. So I see Alma's online. I'm going to open up I have the one group open on my computer so I can see who's there. And I'm going to open the other group on my phone. And the reason I'm going to do that is because with StreamYard, you have to give permission for us to see your name. And so in the post that you just popped into live, there's a link there to do that. And if you don't, I'll see you, but I won't know who you are. So just as an example, this is Alma. So we know who's talking to us. So good, beautiful morning. I love that. All right, so I think we will get into this and we will let whoever is joining us pop on, and then we are going to have our private Q&A at the end. And quite honestly, if nobody showed up to this and they all watched the replay, I'd be okay with that because I could just hang out with Rachel and talk to her for the next hour. I'd be perfectly all right with that. So welcome to the Pendulum, a bridge to your subconscious, and interview with Rachel Quigg. I'm saying that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
One should probably test that out before she goes live. And so you heard us talking just before we started. We met at Clifton House Retreat. Oh my goodness, 5-6 years ago. I don't even remember what year
Well,
that
I've
was.
been here in Fredericton. We're in New Brunswick, and I'm here in St. John. I work in Fredericton, live in St. John. But it would have been 2.5 years ago that I moved from Nova Scotia. So
Right.
yeah, it probably would have been maybe about 5 years ago.
Yeah, because it was pre-COVID. I know that because we didn't have that issue. And then we tried to go afterwards, but that became an issue because things were starting to shut down. So yeah, so it's been, but it feels like I've known you for so much longer. That's just the way it seems to happen in this business. So so you've been practicing Reiki since 1999, correct?
That's
A little
correct.
while.
Little while says my age, but yes, I have.
And you have your master level and how do you, is it you say it?
Usui Reiki. Yep.
Usui,
Yep.
Usui, Usui Reiki. And you also practice, I mean, you just do a whole lot of things. So your master level, Usui Reiki, you practice theta healing, access consciousness, and Psych K. And I think it would just be really cool just to tell us a little bit about each of those. So what is theta healing in your one elevator pitch?
Yes, exactly. So basic level theta, advanced level theta. There's so many courses you can do with theta, Creator in You. It goes on and on. It's phenomenal. So in a nutshell, what Creator is is going up to theta brainwave. So theta brainwave would be, if we're in meditation, we're in theta brainwave. So there's a process where I go up to the seventh level, seventh plane, they call it, which is theta brainwave, where all that information, the universal source information exists. So in this place, I can tap into my intuition. I can also tap into connecting to the creator, whatever that is for you.
Mhm.
And we can access, so I'm pulling from my intuition, but there's a process to theta. Where ultimately what we're trying to do is dig through the layers to be able to establish where your self-limiting beliefs are, sometimes on a non-conscious level, but a lot of times we're consciously aware of those. And
Mhm.
then when we're doing the theta, it's a one-on-one process. We can then muscle test. So even if it's distant, I can show you how to muscle test to determine if the
Yeah.
belief is true or not true for you, and then on what level. So there's different levels of beliefs. So for example, we have the soul level, we have the history, we have the genetics, and we have the, why am I not thinking of it? And then we have the core. Thank you. So the core is sort of this lifetime, our beliefs currently, inner child stuff, all the stuff, trauma that we could have had. And then the soul is what is our soul learning, and
Mm.
how to clear those so we don't have to keep repeating those negative patterns or those negative experiences. Why do I keep having to go through this again and again? The history is about basically, if you take this lifetime and go back 7, it would be
Yeah.
7 lifetimes and beyond. And then so 7 lifetimes and forward to this lifetime would be genetics. So mother's
Wow.
side, father's side. So it's really interesting to be able to
Did you
use.
did you learn from Janet? Was she your teacher?
I learned from Mary Moore. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And then I learned from Janet as well.
Okay. Yeah, she's going to actually come in and go into theta in more detail. So that'll be fun. And I'll let you know when that is, because if you want to join us in that, that might be a fun thing to do as well.
Oh, yes. No, she's phenomenal. So, yeah, that's really
Yeah.
neat. So, access consciousness is basically another tool to release self-limiting beliefs. You might have heard a crazy clearing statement. Some people say, what is it that you want? So, we're always thinking of things we don't want. So, what is it going to take for me to learn how to use the pendulum easily and naturally? And then the statement would be, anything that doesn't allow that, please uncreate, destroy, times a
Yeah.
gazillion, good, bad, right, wrong, pock and pod, all 9 shorts, boys, po-beds, and beyonds. So it's a mouthful. It's a mouthful,
Yeah.
but it's essentially a shorter clearing statement to clear any
Yeah.
energy that's
I
there.
use that when I do readings in my own little private prayer, and I was using it a lot, and then I forgot it. So I actually have it on my screensaver, and it pops up every once in a while to remind me of it, because I use that, and I use Christy Sheldon. I've listened to her for a few years, and just her simple, please delete the story and uncreate it all across all time, space, dimension, and reality. So I use that a lot, and then I pull in that piece into it. So it's interesting how we pick up all these pieces. I'm just going to pause for a second, because I'm just saying hi, Helena. So she says, I'm here listening, doing other things while
Oh,
I
hi,
listen.
Helena.
So you remember Helena from
Yes,
the
I
weekend?
do.
She does taxes, so she's right in the midst of doing people's taxes. So I'm excited she made it. Yeah, sorry. So theta healing, access consciousness, and then Psych K. I'm not familiar with that one at all.
Psych K I learned back in 2009. So it's about, again, muscle testing. So it's a big
Yes.
portion of that. So what
I
you
might
would
like to do
do.
a whole talk on that at some point, I think, because I do teach that a little bit membership. So I think that would be great to do. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yes, no worries. I agree. So it would basically be, again, there's different categories such as like prosperity, health and body, grief, self-esteem, personal power, relationships. So the major categories, there's 25 standard beliefs. They're all written in a positive present tense. So you do need to have them in a positive present tense for your subconscious. And we'll go through this afterwards for your subconscious mind.
Okay.
Because it works in the moment, and it works in the positive, and it works now. So what you do for Psyche is you're balancing out the left and right brain hemisphere. So some beliefs could be more predominant on one side of the brain or the other. So you bring it into whole brain state. How do you do that? There's simple process of processes of doing some eye movements and cross body movements to be able to clear the beliefs. And it's very positive, uplifting
Oh, cool.
practice. That one I find is really, you always high five if you want at the end just to celebrate you cleared it. But that one is really, really great as well. And then, of course, the Reiki, which you love, I love, and I work a lot with the chakras, and very grateful that I do have the pendulum so I can access really quickly where in your body.
You're amazing. I can't. So let's get into this because I can't wait to get into this with you because like I've been with Rachel using pendulum. I'm like, holy crap. I just want to tell you that when you started, so when you started talking about theta healing and I said, tell us what it is. And you had your hands and you were moving them and they were here. I got completely, my ears kind of clogged and started ringing. Yeah, it was really interesting. I just, and then I made the connection. I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, oh, she just started talking about it and her hands are up here. I just thought that was kind of cool. Just a bit more about Rachel. We're going to get into this. In 2003, she owned and operated Intrinsic Motion, and she offered holistic Pilates experience where she produced instructional DVDs. So this girl has just done a whole bunch of things. She's also trained as a life coach. So, I mean, she just takes your whole being and, you know, really you can work with people on so many levels, which I think is so cool. And in 2006, she invented a divination tool called the 2000 Plus Library, which you probably have in front of you. So do you have that? Want to hold that up? Show us your big good book, not big bad book.
Big bad book.
Yes.
So essentially with the pendulum, it's so easy because it's just a process of elimination. So each page has a number at the top. So they're all numbered, but then each page, there's essentially, I don't know if you can see it. Can you at all?
Sort of, but yeah. So you would see like, take me to page, 2, and then we would go to item 5, and then that would take you in. Yeah. It's like this whole little journey of discovery. It's just it's the coolest thing.
On my Facebook page, Elevate Within, which she will share with you, there is a video on this tool in particular where you can see it very clearly. And then I actually channel for myself and it goes to a message so you can see how that works.
Give me the link when we're done and I'll make sure it goes in the group. Yeah, so she gives intuitive readings to clients using her pendulum and pendulum charts in person and by distance. Helena popped a little note in. Great to see you again, Rachel. Love the hair, sis.
Love the hair, sis?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So we're going to get into this. So what is a pendulum? Let's just start with the basics. So I'll have people here who might know them, might use them, and other people like, I don't really know what a pendulum is. So,
okay. So what a pendulum is a tool for divination. So you might have heard it as dowsing as well. Back in the day, you used to use those dowsing rods to locate water underground. Well, for example, now things have progressed, but dowsing isn't a new concept. There's a lot of evidence historically with different religions or philosophies where they've used the divination to be able to help locate lost objects or to get answers. So essentially, you want to remember that the pendulum essentially acts as a bridge between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So you can also refer to subconscious mind as the intuitive mind. So you may hear me say that today. Intuitive mind, show me what a yes is. So for example, that's what I'm asking the subconscious mind. It's essentially, think of it as a bridge between the two. So your conscious mind, or one side of the brain, really knows language, okay? Deals and all that stuff. So, but you have that other part of your brain that basically is more feeling based. So when you look at the subconscious, you want them to be linked together because you're going to form that bridge between the two of them. So to be able to, this gives the language, okay? And this is basically a wealth of information that we may not know consciously that our intuition has available to us, but it doesn't necessarily know has a set language to it. It doesn't act that way. So what we do is we bridge it, and then we can get the amount of amazing information that's available to us to have them both communicate. So that's kind of in a nutshell what it is.
And what can you use as a pendulum? Because of course you and I are here, we have an actual pendulum. But I mean, you don't have to go out and specifically buy an actual pendulum, or if you want to play with one and you don't have one, you can use other things, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you can use a chain or a string. It could be made with wood. This is a actual crystal, and it has a pointer on it. So the pointer is really good if you are going to be doing readings with the chart per se.
Mm.
So yes, you're right. It doesn't have. It could be even like you
And
said,
then
like a
this
chain.
one I have is just a series of crystals, put together in chakra colors with a point at the end.
Yep.
So just to show something that's a little bit different. I should have had, there's a necklace I wear with a crystal on it I use. The only thing with necklaces that I find, and if I would have brought it, I would have showed it, you end up holding them often like that. And then they don't move as easily because they're hanging. So then if you're going to do that, I take the pendant off, and then I just clip it with the clip from the necklace, and then just hold the necklace as a string. So just a little tip for people, if you happen to have a necklace and you want to turn it into a pendulum, that's a way you can do it a little easier.
Right. It's a great suggestion. It doesn't have to be something you purchase. It could be something special to you. But what it needs to do is needs to rotate equally and naturally in all directions
Yes.
without any
And
interference.
that's where doing it that way tends to not work as well. I was showing someone that last week when I was there doing a reading, and I'm like, it's not working properly because it was also a fairly stiff chain, so it wasn't hanging. And yeah, we took it off. So you and I both know that I don't know if I might not have the right languaging, but you program your pendulum, or it's in tune with you, and so there's this show me yes, show me no, so you get can you just talk a little bit about that and how you get that pendulum in tune with you so that you're getting an answer and what that looks like?
Great question. So when and it's an intuitive process, even getting a pendulum or allowing that to kind of be personalized to you. So you don't know which direction it's going to go into. So again, we're assigning that language. So the first thing to do when you have a pendulum is, and it's going to be about 3 to 6 inches long, just so you know this string.
Yeah.
So if you hold it shorter to the end, it's going to obviously spin faster. This one's a fairly heavy.
I love that. It's beautiful.
But if one is lighter, then it could probably spin faster. This one's a bit heavier. So you want to keep that in mind. And you want to be holding it between your thumb and your index finger.
Yeah.
And I can't do it because you may not be able to see me, but if I stood up, you'll be able to, your elbow would be into your side.
Right, because I'm holding, because I'm on screen, I'm holding my arm up, but that's not ideal because this isn't secure.
Right.
So
you want to make sure nothing else is
being. Mine on my computer and do that, then that would give it the secure base, so it's not moving. Right.
Right.
Still hard to kind of do in the confines of the space, but yeah.
Most people use their dominant hand. So is that your dominant hand that you use?
My right, yes.
And I'm left-handed, so I use it with my left.
Okay.
So it isn't always the case. Just do what you feel is comfortable. So essentially, when you getting the pendulum, and it's maybe the first, time that you're using it, a lot of times it doesn't move for people, and that can be very frustrating. It's like, why isn't it moving? And then you're getting really amped up in your energy shifting. But it's okay when you first have a pendulum, just to make sure that you're grounded before you start to use it. Very important. And that you remain objective. Of course, at the beginning, when you're just trying to find a language, it's not as important. But when you get into doing more work with the pendulum, very important, that because you can influence that by, if you have a strong emotional charge to whatever answer you want. So for example, I had COVID, but I didn't know I had COVID. And I asked the pendulum and it said no, but I wasn't grounded. I remember just freaking out. And then, of course, went to test myself. I had COVID.
Because it was giving you the answer you wanted, right? Because we're pretty powerful. Like I don't think people don't realize how powerful they are. Right. So I mean, that's that manifestation thing. I had someone say to me, so, how do I know if I'm manifesting? You're manifesting all the time. So if your life is shit, which it was, it's because, and she was talking to herself negatively all the time. So she goes, I'm not manifesting. No, you're manifesting perfectly, because you're talking to yourself negatively all the time. And that's what's showing up for you in your life. Like, we're always manifesting. So it's the same with this, with asking questions and tapping in, if that makes sense, tapping into your intuitive and looking for the answers. Like, you're always connected to that inner wisdom, whether you know it or not.
Right.
So when you do the yes and no, like, show us what that looks like for you.
Yep. So essentially, I put a white light healing around me anytime I'm doing the pendulum. I make sure I'm grounded, I'm clear of mind, I'm calm, like free of distractions, that kind of thing. Very important to set that up prior. So first, you want to assign a direction. So you want to see if you can get, this isn't the best way to show you, but essentially, if you said intuitive mind, show me forward and back. Okay. If it doesn't move and you can't get it moving and it's not doing anything, it's okay to manually get it moving. That's not
Right. So that it's not just holding, like, mine will move as soon as I put my hand, just because I use it. I'm in tune with it. It immediately, it's funny. Mine's going in the same direction as yours.
Yes.
They're like talking to each other.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that you got to be mindful of, is that you can move it if you need to, just to get it going. You're going to feel the energy between your fingers. So what's actually happening? And you're thinking, how does this actually work? Is it the actual pendulum giving me the answers? No, 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 no. Be very mindful that it's not the pendulum. It's not something outside yourself. It's actually measuring your intuition. So again, there is the thought process goes in through the body, through the vagus nerve, and then, or was it the ulnar nerve? Let me double check that. I was just looked that up. I thought that was really interesting. Thought energy registering in the brain travels through the nervous system. Sorry, the impulses are sent down the ulnar nerve. That makes more sense, which is in the hand, and then it basically carries muscular. It basically carries the muscular reflexes in the fingertips. So that's kind of there's science between. So you sign the direction. So intuitive mind, show me back and forth. Intuitive mind, show me side to side, side to side. See
And when
that?
you do that, it'll usually pause. Like, I know, when I've done kind of that, sometimes, because it takes a while for it to shift. So sometimes I'll even just drop it and get it back to center, and then I'll do it again so I can see the shift, right? Or so I can see the different way.
Yeah, it might not go as smooth as that. And then you can say intuitive mind, show me clockwise. Show me clockwise.
Yeah.
Intuitive mind, show me counterclockwise. 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 Counter. Yeah, like it's going so well. The other way is so excited.
Yeah, it takes a while for it to recalibrate, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And last one would be show me diagonal. Diagonal. Do I need to do this with speaking out loud? No, you don't.
No. And you don't need to do it every time. Like, you're kind of calibrating it at this point.
That's
just
right.
So it's kind of like you're in a relationship with this pendulum now, and you guys are just chatting, you're getting to know each other, and you're getting to know its language, and it's tapping into your subconscious language.
That's right. Exactly. So this is just the beginning when you're starting to build the language. And then after that, you've got that down pat, then you're going to assign a language to that. So what is a yes? What is a no? And what is a maybe?
Okay.
So again, you show them what your yes.
Yeah, I don't do maybes a lot. So let me see. Let me get my hand up, and I'm sorry to turn on my boobs, but they're covered. So, so I'm gonna hold this up. I'll make it a little shorter so you can see it. Okay. So I always get it out of neutral space first, and then I say, show me yes. And depending on the one I'm using, sometimes it moves really quickly. Sometimes it takes a while. I moved my arm because it wasn't really solid. I'm going to get up a little further and get it solid. Hang on. There we go. All right. So I'm going to stop it. So show me yes. And I know for me, yes is clockwise. So it's getting there. But I'm not in the best of positions. But I can see from my angle. I don't know if you can see as much from yours. And I think my videos.
Clockwise, yeah.
Yeah. So I think my video is mirrored. Sometimes it does that.
Yep.
And then I stopped it. And then I say, show me no. And for me, no is back and forth. So again, oh, you know what? Oh, no, it's going back and forth. It's just swinging. Yeah, it's kind of swinging back and forth, but still going in a bit of a clockwise position, but it's not a circle anymore. I think it's just the way I'm holding my hand. And then you said the other one is show me I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. I don't ever do that one. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to see what happens. So show me maybe. So it's interesting because the minute I put in my hand, it starts swinging. And then when I ask it to show me another one, I watch it change. So that to me is, it's counterclockwise. Yeah, like definitely counterclockwise. It took a minute to start doing that. It's hard to see it on video, isn't it? Like the
Nope,
direction.
it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, is it good? You could see it?
As long as you felt the change. So maybe let's say, for example, that it's not the best time for you to know that answer, or maybe the question needs to be more specific.
Right.
So, or it's in the middle. Oh,
okay.
I'm getting an echo now.
Oh, weird. I did just move my computer a bit, so I wonder if that was why. I don't hear it.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah, I still have an echo.
Yeah, I don't hear it on this end.
So essentially, yeah, I still have it. So essentially, that's going to be distracting for me, but that's okay. I'll see what I can do.
Do you have a, I don't know if it'll help if I do this, but if you have a headset and put it on, it will often stop the echo.
Okay. I'll just see if I can grab
I
it.
kind of hear it a little bit in the background, but not much. So,
okay. It seems, let me see. 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3. It seems to be a little bit better with maybe you having that on, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I didn't have it plugged in. I just put it on my head. We're fooling spirit.
Angels, clear this.
Well, that's it, right? It's technology, and we're opening portals. So this is the stuff that happens.
So with the yes, no, maybe, most questions are not answered with a yes, no, and maybe. So what you want to learn, and it's very important to do percentages. So from, for example, so from 1 out of 10, 10 being really high, is it in my best highest interest to, drive to Fredericton today, for example?
Yeah.
So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So 8
out of 10. It would be full circles. Is that what you're doing at that point? Like is the number then in circles?
Well, I'm saying it out loud.
Chart?
I'm saying and distinguishing the actual range before I do it.
Okay.
So is it in my best highest interest? So that's another statement that you want to say. So may I, can I, should I is what I say for anyone that I'm channeling for. So what that means is, may I, is this the right time and place? Basically, is this the most appropriate question? To what degree am I invested in this? So it's really, so then that just simplifies it. May I, can I, should I access the higher energies of myself, Rachel Quigg? Yep. So for me, yes is clockwise. So show me a no. No for me is counterclockwise. Show me a maybe. It's back and forth. You may not be able to see that. There you go.
Yeah,
so that's,
I can see it.
Yeah. So it's better to do ranges. So you could do that range of 1 to 100, like 10%, 20%.
And how do you get the percentages? Is it like, do you then use a chart for that? Because I have done that with paper and a chart.
You can do
somehow getting it without a chart.
You can do it with the chart, or you can just say it out loud, like I said, or say it in your head.
Oh, because you're getting the yes and no too. Is it 10%? Is it 20? Like you do it so fast. Like I would have to go, is it 10%, and then pause, and it would stop. And is it 20? Like, but you're like, I know, I remember that from you. It's like, blah, 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 and you do it so fast. It's
very quickly. Yes, I apologize. Yeah.
But so no, I did it.
May look differently. You could do a pie chart, so you could have draw a pie chart. Yeah. So for example,
or I've done a scale, so it looks like your gas fuel tank thing, right? So it's a half circle, 0%, 100%. I've done that. Actually, one of the ways I played with that in the past, which has been very interesting, is increasing my metabolism. And so I would check in on a 0 to 100%, and where's my metabolism in terms of operating effectively. And let's say it was like 7, so that would be 70%. Or if it was a 30%, I would say, increase to maximum safe level now. And then I would test it on the paper, and it would always be up some percentage.
Oh, cool.
And then I would feel it, because when your metabolism kicks in, it was almost like I had caffeine. So throughout the day, I'd feel like I drank caffeinated coffee, I assume, because my metabolism was increasing.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
that would be an example of a
Oh, perfect.
degree.
Yes.
Can
Oh,
you
yeah,
see it?
perfect. Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I've seen you use those in your books as well.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
called the pendulum charts.
So
It's
in addition to the book you created, you also have all these other books that you use as tools as well.
Yeah. So this one's written by Dale Olson. It's the best one I've seen out there. This is more for a healer's manual. So you can use it yourself. You don't have to use it to channel for anybody else. It's
Yeah.
I think over 144 charts. And on
Wow.
my Facebook page, there's a video just on this, and it shows you all the different things that you can access, like anything from all the body organs, every body organ possible, causes and solutions. It's got stuff around weight management. So if you want to know why are not losing weight, and some answers there. It's
Yeah.
got stuff on your teeth,
Okay.
parasites, Bach flower remedies, crystals, you name it. It's very, very, very detailed. And
Yeah, I remember seeing those. They're very cool. And just so, yeah, they're like all the answers to everything, really. And the way that you get to the right page, if you're doing that for someone, is again, like you would even, I assume, kind of go, which book do we want to go with? And you would use your pendulum for that. And then once you get to the book, what page, right? Like that's how you kind of drill down.
exactly, it's like a process of elimination, very detailed, step by step. So in that pendulum book, it
Yes.
has Master Chart 1 and Master Chart 2 that has all the charts on it. So it's easy enough. Is it in the number 1 or number 2? And then if it's in number
And then
1,
drill down.
you actually ask the question. So you can ask anything to the pendulum charts. You don't have to just see what it says to you or gives to you. You can have specific questions like, okay, I've got lower back issues. What's going on? So what's the cause of that? And what are some of the solutions that I can do for that? So it's got the healing, all the body healing modalities in there. So instead of going to a chiropractic or going to physio and then going to an osteo or whatever, maybe
Right.
it's something to do with some energy work. So if that's the case, I can do that from a distance. Someone had an ear issue. She didn't know why she couldn't hear very well of the ear. I channeled for her and it went on chiropractic. You would not have thought of chiropractic.
Right.
So just really neat to access all that wealth. Again, I'm not a substitute for medical care. I'm not. So that's really important that you keep your medical, your physician, all that, and not take it as a substitute of that. You can sometimes people brought that information to their doctor or more specifically to their naturopath who might be more open to things like this, right? So that's
Yes.
a challenge. But it's given me such guidance over the years. I cannot tell you how much it's given me, how I've been able to grow from it, just because I have access to all this information.
Is there somewhere that if someone's wanting to kind of practice with the pendulum for themselves in that way, and of course they don't have access to all these books and all these things, is there some kind of starting place that would be good for them that will at least get them access to some of those resources, maybe to get a feel for how that works?
Of course, if you go to getintuitive.com,
Yeah.
Dale Olson, the one that has written this manual, the pendulum manual, he wrote a book called The Pendulum Bridge. So there is a beginner's guide on what the pendulum is and how to use it. Really important
Okay.
to understand. You wouldn't just get in a car without having to get your beginners and figure out how to drive that car. It's really important that you know how to operate and do it step by step, because it can influence your decisions, and you don't want to be, and especially if you're doing it for other people, it's really important that you practice years and years and years before you feel confident in doing it for other people.
Yeah.
So there is a science to it, and it's an art as well. And but essentially, it's just really important. So if you went to getintuitive.com, he's got smaller books that are not as expensive as this one, with just different charts in it as well.
Just for someone who wants to kind of play around and get a sense of it. And, and of course, and we're going to talk about this towards the end, because this is what Rachel does. And she does these pendulum readings. We're going to talk about that. There's a special I'll share at the end. And, and that kind of one of the questions I had for you, which I think is, in line with what we're talking about, is what other gifts do you bring into your pendulum reading? And I guess what I mean by that is, it's not just a pendulum. We kind of talked about this. You do a lot of other things. And I feel like, for you, this is a very holistic approach, and you bring a lot of that into your pendulum readings as well.
I would say the most thing that I do well with is asking better questions, is because your answers
People ask the
are
wrong
only as
questions
good as
all the
your
time.
questions.
Yes.
So how do you phrase those questions? Remember,
Can we play with that for a second? Because I think that's so important. And I think that would be cool to play with, because I talk about that a lot when doing readings, because people ask the wrong question and we narrow it down. So I'm going to just ask you a question. I'll just pretend I'm your person that's coming to you for advice. Do you want me to make up something, or do you want it to have some semblance of truth in it?
It's up to you. It's the other thing you don't want to do is ask two things within one question. So do I go
Right.
Left or right?
Right. I love that.
I'm not going to understand that. Yeah.
I'll use a relationship one, because I think this is where a lot of people, come up with questions where, I had someone ask me actually on the weekend. I was away on the weekend, and someone said, do the cards were sitting on the table, and I mean, cards and pendulum, they're all divination tools. And she said, if I ask a question, will the cards give me an answer? And I thought that was really a cute question. And I mean, the answer was, it's your subconscious giving you the answer. The cards are just a tool, but yes, you can ask them a question. And the question was, and I think there's two good examples here. One question was, will my son and his girlfriend make it? And I said, well, one, we can't really ask questions about other people per se, other than your involvement with them, correct? So let's use that as an example. So someone comes to you and says, my son's really struggling with a health issue and I want to find out more. Tell me how that plays out with you.
Well, you're right. If I'm channeling for that person, it's that person that I'm accessing and finding out, firstly, if I can, should I access the higher energies of Mary Brown? If Mary, for example, is asking about someone else, that is when it makes it a bit challenging, because they're not the ones coming in for the information. So I do try to stick to the readings to be pertinent to yourself.
So if I asked you in that situation, sorry, I know I jump in, how can I best support my son with what he's going through? Would that be a better way to ask the question?
Right, exactly. So it's about you. Very well phrased. So I could ask questions, okay, for example, and it's more when I bring in that life coaching. Okay, so what is it about when you're observing your son and his partner? Are you concerned with? What is it that you're concerned with about if they stay together or not stay together? Is that what the question was about?
Yeah, I kind of switched gears a little bit, but yeah, that her question was that she was concerned about them making it, meaning staying together. I mean, that was her question.
Right.
Yes. And so
why does that interest you? What is it? So you're trying to get down to the motivator of that question.
Yeah. So kind of like, what's your, I don't want to say involvement in this, but what's your connection to this? What are you looking to give to the situation or get from the situation? Does that make sense?
Yeah. And what's your attachment, right? If there's an attachment that they stay together, or if there's not, what is that going to create for you? So again, being mindful of that. So what is it that you can do to help stay in your center and stay disattached? Maybe something like that could be channeled. So again, it's a process of peeling those layers and getting down to the motive. So,
and I bet it would bring up some beliefs around that. So I would suspect that's now going to take you to that person and their beliefs. I'm not a good mom. I'm not supportive. I'm not in control. And then you're going to get into those. And then that's going to take you, that's kind of what you mean, I think, by like peeling the layers back.
Right. And that's done through these I could do it through these other techniques better than just doing the pendulum charts per se. I like doing the charts more specific to your health. So that's where I find my niches. I've done a lot of work with natural health. So I feel like that a lot of the things that show up there for me, I understand that. I know what that is. And again, I'm really passionate about those self-limiting beliefs and
Mm,
how to shift those, but it all usually does come back to you, right? So
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just want to mention, Alma said we're freezing a bit. I'm not noticing it on my end. So for those that are watching this, maybe just pop a note in and let us know if you're noticing it, just so we know if it's happening, if it's a one-off or if it's happening to everyone. Are you noticing anything, Rachel?
I'm not. So is Alma, are you saying that both of us are freezing, or probably would be both of us, I
Yeah,
assume?
good question. I don't know. Let's ask the pendulum. Why are we freezing?
You're so
So,
cute.
what's happening here? There's a lot of energy, so I'm not surprised that these things might be happening. Yeah, tell us about. So, in terms of that, yeah, we were talking about this before. So tell us about your book.
What's really cool about this whole journey is that I originally, like I said, 1999, got a pendulum, started Reiki level 1. So I didn't have a lot of these tools back then. So I'd ask my pendulum questions and stuff like that. And you can even go on YouTube. I'm sure you can find, or on the web, and find some pendulum charts there for free as well. But someone had mentioned to me, maybe it would have been maybe around 2000, in the 2000s somewhere, maybe 2005 or before that, that 11:11 on the clock time. So the
Mhm.
digital clock time. So again, I'd not known about, she said, that's a message from the angels. And I was like, I don't know what this is. So I went online and looked it up.
Yeah,
This is before I got this book. It's called Angel Numbers
angel numbers
by George
101. Oh, I
Richard.
love it.
Yeah. And so I
Mm.
would see triple digits on digital clock time and license plates all the time, everywhere. So 222 111 555. One day in Canmore, when I was driving around, this is when I had my Pilates business, I saw within a 15-minute period of time numbers 000 111 22 all the way up to 999 on nine
Oh,
different
wow.
cars. And I thought, oh my goodness. So then it became really like, kind of, I was fixated on seeing these numbers on your cell phone as well.
Yes.
Would you want to ask them if we're freezing still,
Well, we
or?
were. So I was just clear. That's why I lit this. I was just clearing the air. So, because I do have, Helena said, no echo now, haven't noticed any freezing. And then Alma is freezing. And Helena wasn't, but just did. So I'm like, I don't know what energy is happening here, but it's why I lit my Palo Santo stick just to see if I could get some good energy going in here. See maybe why it's freezing, because it doesn't appear to be freezing on my end. So I'm not sure what's
Not
going
on
on.
my end either.
Yeah. So, and
Well,
hopefully
that's
the
echoing,
replay will.
but that's shifted.
Yeah, funny, isn't it? And hopefully the replay won't freeze too, so anybody can go back if they've lost anything and watch it. But yeah, just keep us updated. You're not freezing. Usually it's the person's internet going in and out. Okay, so Helena said it's not freezing. Yep. So just let us know. Pop a little thing in there. I mean, if it is, there's not really much we can do, but if it's an energy thing, that's why I grabbed this. And you see me waving my hands. I was just clearing out some of the energy. I can
Thank
feel
you.
it in my head. I can
Thank you.
feel a lot of energy from this. Yeah.
So this is really cool. So then I got this book, and then I would do readings, obviously with oracle cards like yourself. I would do readings with the oracle cards, and then I would give people their numbers. So I thought something fun would be to do today is, if you, Marian, wanted your numbers, I could give you your numbers, or even at the end, we can give people their numbers. They're all numbered, and they're all very.
Well, let's do that with me now to show everyone, and then we're going to go into the member private Q&A, and that would be a fantastic thing to do there. But we'll do it on here just so everyone can see it as well.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to ask if I can access. So again, I just want to do some breathing, ground my energy, because I get really excited about all this. Oh yeah. So what I was going to say before I do this is that the angel number book became the 2000 plus library, because I was waiting for a client to coach them over the phone one day, and their scooter broke down. And I was like, why don't I just create more of a language? And so that's the 2000 plus library, where I was able to expand that.
Cool.
I've evolved over the years, but it's been amazing.
I'm grounding myself as well.
So may I, shall I, should I access the higher energies of Marianne, Marriott? So it's going yes. See, I'm getting an echo now.
Oh, yeah, and I don't hear it.
So when I go into this, it's just a process of elimination. Is her numbers in the single digits, double digits, or triple digits? So again, goes clockwise means triple digits. And again, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. So it's in the 900s. I may get like 9 and I could always just check it to see, okay, is it in the
Right.
9? I may not have to go through that process. So as you can tell, it's a bit of a process. And when I do the readings, I don't necessarily do them with them right there on video or the phone. It just takes too long. And it's just, yeah, not that interesting. So not, is it 900? So is it in 900, 910s, 920, 930, 940, 950, 960, 970? So we're in the 970s and 71, 72, 73, 74, 974. Here we go. The angels are applauding you for following your divine. Aw. The angels are applauding you for following your divine guidance about your career as you are now on the path of your life purpose.
Oh, that's perfect. And that's actually so perfect with just everything I've been working on lately.
Nice.
Very cool. That was a very cool. That was so cool. It was just cool watching how you got there so quickly. This is the thing that amazed me about you when we sat and, I had a reading and you had all these books and like you just drilled down. It was fascinating to watch you. It's still fascinating to watch you.
So that's one message. You may have more, but we can give you those later. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, no, I'll be doing a reading with you for sure after this because I think that would be. I'm in it. We all evolve, right? And so I've evolved in so many ways, and I'm always looking for, what more do I need to know about that, and going into the core. And this is even though I do cards and I do that, it's harder to do that for yourself. It's so much easier to have someone, on the outside doing that, so you can get out of your way because we do get in our own way. So I'm just going to do a time check. So we're good. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you is what's the most common mistake that someone would make when they're trying to use a pendulum for themselves?
I would say they may give up. It'd be more or less giving up. I've heard that time and time again. I'm in the health food store swinging my pendulum, people coming up to me, what are you doing? What is this? I'd say, well, this is this and that. And then they would be usually like, oh yeah, I had, or they had one or they didn't know of one. But a lot of people I feel like it's just in their drawer collecting dust because they didn't know how to do it properly, or maybe it wouldn't move for them. So that would be one thing. Don't give up. It's such an amazing tool and you can gain such a wealth of information. Like I said, how are you saving time and money? Well, I think that hopefully you can all see that now with these tools, that instead of the trial and error, I think I need to go to this person, or I think I need to take this, or I'm not sure. It can really save you and be more accurate in terms of the therapies or techniques that you need for your body to move forward, and more of a holistic one that you might not have thought of. So again, don't give up, have patience. It works. Try not to channel too much in terms of the future and asking about the future. Those are really tricky questions. Timelines, you'll hear that is tricky questions as well. It's very difficult to always pinpoint.
I would think they're subjective too. It's like, when this gal asked me about her son and girlfriend staying together, like what I could clearly see is lots of paths. Like it depends on what happens, and I could see them going off and coming back and going off and coming back. And that's a really hard question to answer because it's based on a lot of future events that are going to change the trajectory, right?
That's right. You have free will. So
yeah.
It's like, so again, I like to elevate within. Like I'm obviously about empowering you that you have the answers. So if anybody wants to learn how to use the pendulum, definitely let me know. We can work on that. But again, if you do need to go to Marianne, for example, or myself, it is sometimes nice to have that, not have to learn all that in order to get that valuable information that you might need at that time. But essentially, you're the one that's going to make those decisions. So yeah, the timelines are tricky, and asking like forecasting into the future.
There's more about now. By the way, if anyone has a question on pendulum use, put it in the comments for sure, and we'll come to your question. We are going to move to the private Q&A shortly. But one of the other things I wanted to say, so because we talked a couple times about the pendulum isn't moving and people get frustrated. Are there any tips or tricks for people to help them with that?
Well, like I said earlier, you can actually move. You can actually
Get
move
it going.
Get
So
it going.
if it's not doing anything,
Show
like
me
if
a
I
yes.
just
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my clockwise may not be your yes. Yours
Yeah.
may be your own language. So again, intuition, show
try
me
to hold
what,
my arm
show
in.
me yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It actually does work better when I do that.
Yeah, it can look very different than my yeses and my
Yeah.
nos. But
But
most
I've
clockwise is yes and counterclockwise is no for people.
okay. And I've done that where I've asked a question and then I'm just sitting there and it's not doing anything. So I'm like, okay, so it's, I didn't, either didn't ask the question right, or I'm not clear, or, so, and sometimes I'll just put it in my hand and I'll just hold it and, just to kind of get more in tune with the energy, or I might clean it because maybe, I haven't used this for a while. So, I'll put it out in the moon or in some water or something sometimes just to clear it.
Yep.
Yeah, so I love what you're saying. Like, don't give up if it's not working right away.
Yeah.
There might be a reason for that.
That's right.
Yours
Hold it a
is
little
like
bit
going
closer
crazy.
to the end. Like this
Yeah.
is going to be a little bit more challenging. So my energy is closer to the object. So
Yes.
3 to 6 inch. So that seems to help. Again, yours may not move this fast. Okay. So show me a no. No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. It's got to change direction. See that? That's
Yes.
a no for me. Yours could be different. Show me.
Yeah, mine's doing a yes right now because I'm just in my head saying, show me yes, show me yes. And you can see now I've been using it for a bit. Now mine will use faster because it's like, oh, we're back in touch with one another. Okay.
I don't want to let this go because it'll fly and hit me in the face.
Yeah.
Injured, but yeah, it's a powerful tool. But again, it's not the tool itself; it's your intuition. So practice, 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 practice.
Yeah. Do you teach pendulum use at all? Is that anything that you do?
Yep, I can certainly do that. I have done courses before, but as a group. So that again was in person. I'm not sure what that would look like if we wanted to do one through like Zoom or online video. That would probably work as well. I don't think it needs to be in person, but one-on-one, sure. I think that would be a wonderful thing to do because it's nice to have someone guide you along the way, and then you can have some tools to practice on, and then accountable. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna, so the last kind of question I had, which you answered, but I'm just gonna pull it out and make it a little more prominent because I think it's important, because you talk about saving you energy, saving you time, saving you money, and you did just speak to that, but I didn't want it to get buried because I thought it was so important, and I'll share my understanding of how this is doing that based on our entire discussion, is that if you are facing some situation dilemma, and again, your expertise is kind of in the health realms, let's say you're having a health issue. Actually, I am right now, my right side, my sciatica is acting up, and I know, and it's not terrible, but the warning signs there, and I know that I'm not paying attention to my body as much as I should be. So that's an area where, someone might just try different things to alleviate it. But this is where you can kind of come back and say, okay. And, again, like the charts that you have, let's go to the root of the issue. And then what is the main thing to do to alleviate that? I think that's something when I do a reading with you, we'll go into, because that's something that right now is in the present. And that's, again, what I'm understanding, that's the best use of the pendulum is like right now in the present, what's happening, what do I need some guidance on?
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah. So I feel like we shared a lot, and then coming down with my kind of closing question for you, which is what one piece of advice would you give someone who has a pendulum sitting around gathering dust, and wants to incorporate it in their everyday life? And again, you've probably already said this because we've shared so much, but I'll let you just pull one little nugget out of all of that. What would it be?
Well, it might be helpful if you had a friend or someone else. That just came to my mind. Like if you had someone, or even me or whoever, but someone to hold you accountable, because it's difficult when you're just like exercise. When you're starting out, it's like, okay, I gotta get into this and I gotta do it. And like, you want to see some positive momentum and results quickly off the bat to be able to feel successful at it.
Yes.
So that's what I would, it's kind of the same philosophy around the same thing. So having someone to be accountable to, again, not giving up, putting some structure to it. So I think Dale Olson said something about like doing it for 7 minutes a day for a certain amount of time. So again, slow and steady. And then once you assign that language, you're ready to go. And then you just build on there and build on there and build on there. You'll be surprised how much information you can gather. And especially with those things like self-limiting beliefs and stuff like that. But you can measure food. You can use food.
Well, I was going to ask you, because I was going to come back to the grocery store, because we all heard you say, I'm in the grocery store with my pendulum. And I thought, oh, we didn't really unpack that. What are you doing in the grocery store with your pendulum?
Well, I was in the health food store, but essentially I'm just, again, I know my language. I know what the pendulum is for me and the energy towards that. So I can just hold, I'll grab the supplement.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be a cool, practical example of how, you can pop this in your purse or your pocket or your coat pocket and take it with you throughout the day and use
This is not a supplement. This is Advil. So again, we know what my yes, no, and maybe is. So right now, what is this telling me?
Is this, I think, is that a no for you? Yeah, the video distorts it.
Right. Again. So here's the old cold effects.
Yes.
And this is the thing. A lot of people want to know what's going on and have a better awareness and proactive approach to their health right now because of COVID and all these things happening with their immune system. This is a way to do it. So this is cold effects. So this gives me a yes. If I want to know at a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very high and isn't in my best highest interest.
Did that just switch?
Nope. This is
okay. Yeah.
So I could, when I ask a question, just so you know, some people, when they ask a question, it goes back and forth. So when they're actually like asking the question out loud, mine goes in the counterclockwise direction. It just always does that. So from a scale 1 to 10, so how good is this product for me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay.
So how do you, when you do that, what's happening when you get to that 9? Because I just see you and your pendulum and I don't see anything specific happening in that moment. What do you see or feel happening in that moment that you know to stop?
It changes direction. So it goes,
it's so fast. I don't even notice.
Yeah, it goes from a counterclockwise direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And
okay.
Sorry, I just slowed it down. Goes to a clockwise. Okay. Here's another one, Sister Renew, another product. So again, if I just grabbed it and put it to it, it would be yes. Let's see, out of 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 7. So usually if I see anything like that's like 6 and up, I usually, like it's not terrible if it's a 6 or a 7, but then it's up to me and my decision if I want to be able to purchase that or go for that product or whatnot. And that's just measuring this product with my body in this now.
Yeah. So if it's really low, like it's a low vibrational match to your body, so there's either no benefit or there could be disadvantage, I assume, depending on how low it is.
That's right.
Like you almost have your set point.
Yeah. You can do it with food as well. So you just hold the food in your hand and put the pendulum over.
We're all going to cook our meals today, and then our spouses would be, what the hell are you doing? Well, I'm checking my mashed potatoes and carrots. But I know what you mean. I'm having fun with it. But so cool. Okay, so I feel like we could talk forever, but we can't because we do have a limited time frame. So Rachel does have a special offer for us. So her pendulum readings are $80, and she's giving 20% off to this community. So I had to do the math. So that's $64. And then I had to do numerology, which is a 10, which is new beginnings and taking a risk. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So, I just love that it ends up being a 1, right? It's like, what's next? New beginnings, where are we going? What are we doing? And so if you do want to take advantage of that, Rachel's information is at the bottom of the screen, going through the little ticker. So her email there, her phone. What's the best way for someone to contact you?
You can text me at that number. You can call or you can email, either or. And then you're going to provide that Elevate within Facebook page.
Yes.
Or if they just see me, add me on Facebook, and either way.
Yes. Good question. Alma's asking, Is that plus tax? So is
Nope,
tax
that's
included in the price?
yep.
Straight, okay, straight price. Good, because I'd have to do new math and new numerology if I had to add tax in, so that it simplifies it. So yes, I will put the Facebook page link in this post when we're done. And so thank you so much, Rachel. I was so excited to do this with you. It was just so nice to see you and be in your presence again, even though it's virtually. Hopefully we'll get to be in each other's presence, for real one of these days. But even this, just to see you again and do this with you was magical. And of course, appointments are virtual. You can do them virtually. They can be with you or not with you. I mean, I know you can just do that in any way, shape, or form that works for someone, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the live portion. Look, that's right on time. We're so efficient. I'm going to stop the live portion. So I'm going to end the broadcast in just a moment. And but we're going to stay here. So for the private Q&A, and we'll just all going to refill my tea. And if you need to take a break, we'll just take a quick little break. I'm going to pop a screen up that's just going to have the contact details in it. And then like in a few minutes, I'll come back, and then anyone that's in studio will bring you in. If anybody can't get into studio, just send me a message on Facebook Messenger, and I will give you the direct link. So thank you so very much. And I'm going to pop up our outro screen, which also has all of Rachel's stuff. And I'm going to take us out of studio. I took us out before I said goodbye. So I'm taking myself out of studio. I'm going to end the broadcast. But if you're going to join us for the private Q&A and find out what your angel number is, and then just let me know and I'll bring you in. So, all right. See you on the inside, members.